And welcome to my new video that is a follow-up to the hot glue gun pearls video I did. This is to make embellishments with the hot glue and the perfect pearls. As you can see, I've made them into a stick pin. And you can actually make just regular stick pins as well by creating a top and then adding beads to it. As you can see, you're just using a little gem in the middle of it. And I've just made various sizes and shapes, and I'll go over that in the video. And I'm just using perfect pearls to give them that shimmer. You can even make the tops of the pins in different shapes. Now the items you're going to need is going to be, yes, a hot glue gun that preferably has the point, and also some gems, just different colors. You can use pretty much anything. As you can see, I have a whole abundance of them. And you also need a craft mat. Now, I like this one that I'm using. It's actually an oven liner. And then there's some other things that I've made. Adding the glue to a piece of satin ribbon or a string, and then adding the perfect pearls to that. Now, you're also going to need they're a type of jewelry. They're in the jewelry finding. It almost looks like a sewing pin with a little top on it, but it doesn't. It's not pointy at the end. As you can see, I'm not poking myself with it. They have these in a couple different sizes, and you can make stick pins with these, and they work just fine. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the different globs of glue down. If you check out my first video, the hot glue gun pearls, I go into more detail as far as doing this, and I will try to put a link down below. Now, I'm just doing a few of them just to give you an idea of, what we're going to be doing. I've made a couple of teardrop shapes, and now I'm just making some round shapes. And then I'm actually going to make a couple bigger shapes. And I'll show you that one because we're going to actually make a dimensional type of flower that it's actually going to be bigger. Now this one I was trying to make a teardrop, and I did not keep the nozzle down in the glue enough, so it really didn't make the shape I needed. But I mean, they're pretty inexpensive to make, so if you do make a few boo-boos, it's not really too much of a loss. So now we've got all these laid down, and there again, that's the biggest one, and you'll see what we'll do with that, and then the different sizes. So if you'll just hang on for a second, I'll be right back. Okay, now we have the glue has already set down, or has set, so it's movable. Now the one thing you'll notice is that the glue will stick to itself, not permanently, but it will stick to itself, so that kind of makes it easy to assemble your little pieces. As you can see, I already put 3 of them together there, kind of like a medium-sized teardrop. And then I have like 3 little small teardrop ones. For the smaller flowers, you want to use about 5. Is pretty good. For the larger one, you really only need the 4. I mean, I guess if you really want to make it really big, you could do that. But see, you'll notice that they kind of stick together, which is good, because that way, when we're ready to actually assemble and put the jewel in it, it makes it much easier. Now, I did push them together. As you can see, those do not match. So for the sake of the video, I already went ahead and I've done some. And they kind of look funny right now. They do have a little bit of a shimmer to them, but it's much prettier once you add the perfect pearls to it. So I have my gems here, and I'm just going to kind of take a look at it and figure out which ones should go with which. As you can see, I chose the larger gem for the big dimensional one. That dimensional one looks a little funny right now. Once we put that gem in it and put the stem on it, it really does look cute. I like the small teardrop, and I also like the round one. They seem to be my favorite at this point. So So what I'm doing is just putting a small drop down in the center, making sure that the glue is hitting all pieces of the other glue drops, and push that in to the glue, your little gem. But be very careful, don't burn yourself. So don't put too much glue down so it oozes out and will catch your finger. So we're going to move on to the next one. Again, the same thing, just going to put a little glob of glue in there, making sure we're touching all sides and dropping the little gem right in there. You could really put just about anything in there. I mean, you could even, if you wanted to put flour soft. And now we're going to move on to the little round one. Now this one has a bigger gap in the center, so you're going to want to make sure you have enough glue down there, again, so it's hitting all the sides, all 5 sides. And then you'll go ahead and put your little gem in. Again, be very careful, don't burn yourself. Now this one, because it is bigger and has more opening on the bottom, it is stuck to the mat, so you will have to wait for it to dry. And then here's our dimensional one. I'm actually going to put a nice sized glob in there. Again, touching all sides of the pieces. And we're going to put the gem in there. But when I do, I'm going to start pushing up on the flower petals, just to give it a little more kind of closing in, I guess. Just, it gives it more dimension. And with the hot glue, I mean, if you've worked with it before, you know it is a pretty fast drying item, but it also leaves these little spider web strings, whatever you want to call them. You can do different things. You can just pick them off, or you can actually hit it with a heat gun just for a second. Now here's that jewelry piece again. And again, it has like the little nail head at the top. And what we're going to do is just add a little glue to the back of the item. And I am sorry, I'm a little bit out of frame here. But we're just going to put the glue on there and then put the little jewelry piece or stick pin piece on there. And I'm kind of twirling it around into the glue just so it kind of coats it. And now I'm going to press down in there. Make sure it's in there nice and tight, especially since that's a dimensional one and that one's actually heavy. As you can see, I'm trying to pick this up and it's like, okay, we're not moving. So I broke out my little palette type knife from Slice. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to just add the back to it by putting a little bit of glue down. And try to get rid of as much of the strings as possible, but as you can see, they're still there. And I just pushed it in there. I'm laying it aside for a moment. And that one string did not want to give up. And now we're going to go ahead and do the little one. Again, just a little dab of glue. The only thing when I did this one, I really didn't get enough glue on it. So, oops, I'm sorry. I'm actually going to be doing the bigger one first. And I just pressed it in, and there's those little strings again. And now we'll do the small one. And I actually didn't get enough glue at first on here. And you'll actually see a little bit once I go to put the pearls on that it moves a little, and then I'll put some more glue on it. But with this, again, I just put it in there, laid it in. I waited a little bit too long, I think, to actually put it on there. I even attempted to put a little more glue on here. But it's all fixable very easily. So I just think they really look cute. I mean, it's just something different. All this was more or less discovered by accident, as you will see if you watched my first video. It was just a matter of the glue dripping, and I thought, and it happened to end up being in the shape of a pearl. So I just took off from there and thought, well, let's see what else I can do. And these, I've already made a card, and I've done a couple in the pink. Now there was just some colors for the perfect pearls you can use. On these, I'm just using the pearl color. And I'm just using a paintbrush. Main reason this time, where we're just doing the pearls, I used my finger. But being that we have the gem in the middle, I want to make sure I can get into there and get into all the little cracks and crevices. Where with just a straight pearl, you didn't have to worry about that, and you could do it with your finger. And also, if you're going to do them with the colors, you probably want to use paintbrush, just because otherwise you're going to end up with all different colors on your fingers. Now, I can't tell you if like the Pearl X will work on here. Because Pearl X does not have a binder, I don't believe that it will stay without putting some kind of binder or some kind of a fixative on it at the end. But as you can see, that one kind of moved a little bit. And here I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit more glue just to stabilize it. And you can see I've made a mess down there, but you know what? Just pick it up with your paintbrush and put it on your project. And you'll see I will do that. Now this is a bigger one. It's taking a little bit more. But you can see the dimension that is there. It's really cute. And like I said, I've had these gems forever. And it was like, well, okay, maybe I can use some of them up now. So we're just, again, brushing it over. And then we have the last one. And the thing is, if one of them is a little off or something, you can actually cut these with some fairly sharp scissors if you're very careful. But you do want to be extremely careful with that because they are very small, and you don't want to end up cutting yourself. But there, of course, I was out of frame when I was trying to show those. And here you can see them a little bit better. And then there's the dimension one. Now this would be cute on like little decor project or, you know, home decor projects. So, and that's my nice little mess.